Fuck. Now there are two of them. Hehehe. How you doing? I was about to say, I ran into some technical difficulties. First of which, that I got distracted with technical difficulties and did not... had to speedrun eating my dinner. For one. Second of all, I've forgotten I've left my... thing out. I've left my controller on the floor yet again. Hold on. Alright. New items unlocked! Ooh. Don't know how that happened. Part of the technical difficulties was with the little plushie here. Because I had to re-rig the mouth from scratch because there's a bug in Inertia Creator that crashes the whole thing if I do something very specific. But that's neither here nor there. I then had to retrack all of the tracking for plushie in Puppet String. That was fun. But that, yeah, I've got it working. I still can't get anything but plushie's hat to toggle right. Oh, here we go. Anyway, last we left off, it was part 2 of being at the Gatewater land, where we solved the mystery of... well, it wasn't really a mystery. Kind of. We solved the kidnapping and a murder on the side. And I believe... this episode, we're gonna be going back to the past. To 7 years before. Turnabout Reminiscence. Blocked by my buddy, Kay Faraday, the young lady who calls herself the second Yatagarasu. The piece of cloth that she conjured up has taken me back to many years ago. Getting right into it. 7 years earlier, the judge!
Yeah, that's right. I did it. I killed the guy.
Who are these people?
But it was the great thief Yatagarasu that told me to do it.
Objection? I asked the defendant, just what exactly are you trying to say?
Don't you get it? I know the true identity of the Yatagarasu.
Oh my.
The Yatagarasu is the man standing over there at the prosecutor's bench. Are you saying that I'm the Yatagarasu? Don't you dare deny it! You told me to kill him when you snuck into the embassy.
Are you claiming that Mr. Faraday is the Yatagarasu?
That's exactly!
Objection! Mr. Arell, I think we've heard just about enough of you.
Your Honor, please listen to me. I'm telling the truth. You gotta believe me!
Getting right into it.
In accordance with the defendant's accusation, a new prosecutor shall be called to replace Mr. Faraday. This court will be in recess until the new prosecutor's ready.
Kay's father. Pretty hot. It's a baby! It's a baby! September 10th, 3:20 p.m. District Court, third floor lobby. It's almost time for me to enter the courtroom. And so it is that my first assignment as a prosecutor will be as a replacement for a prosecutor who has been accused by the defendant. Edgeworth? Who's this? Ah! Ah! Manfred! Sir.
Have you read
Oh, God.
Have you read over all of the documents regarding this trial?
Yes, sir. I've memorized everything there is to know.
Very good. The paperwork for the prosecutor substitution is just about complete. Edgeworth, always bear in mind that as your mentor, I, Manfred von Karma, will accept nothing short of perfection.
I understand, sir. To have the chance to stand in court at such an early stage in my career, I am honored and proud. Oh boy.
As I have watched over your studies, I am giving you this very rare chance. Prove yourself. Crush the defendant's pathetic lies into oblivion.
Yes, sir. Such a legendary prosecutor will be watching and judging my performance. I have to be perfect in every way. Oh, I can move. All right. Oh, it's the jacket that hangs in his office that he's wearing right now. A model of the courthouse. It's pretty well constructed. Hands and a face. Don't tell me this thing transforms. Yet, I wonder for what other purpose could they have been made. Where? Who's this guy?
This is so good!
Glug, 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 glug.
I could drink a whole gallon!
I've never heard of water that tastes that good. Maybe I'll give him a minute. It feels like that sometimes. But does he plan on gulping an entire reservoir dry?
Who knows?
Old lady. Excuse me, madame, but is something the matter? I just thought someone would have brought hors d'oeuvres by now. But this is a courthouse. It would be quite atypical to provide hors d'oeuvres here. Are you sure? Someone poured me a fresh cup of coffee last time I was here. What the heck does she think a courthouse is for? Hey! As someone who has been to jury duty, you can get self-serve coffee. At least at the local courthouse.
Aren't these great? Daddy made all these.
Is this the precinct officer again? Awesome! But didn't you get fired right after you made them?
Yeah, I did. I spent the same amount of money on this model as it cost to build the real thing.
What do you mean?
And my boss wasn't very happy with me, I'll say.
Hey, Daddy, didn't you say you built a secret mechanism inside of it?
I'll tell you about that someday when you're older.
What? A secret mechanism? Maybe he installed it as payback for getting fired. It could be trouble. Now I'm curious.
Mr. Prosecutor, sir. You've got a good eye if you can tell that I'm a prosecutor with just one glance.
Actually, it was the Chabot. As there are always only prosecutors and defense attorneys in this lobby, I usually hit the mark if I guess one or the other while there's recess. You were only guessing? Oh, a couch. A luxurious and beautiful leather sofa. I must say, every part of this courthouse is meticulously well kept. Although the positioning of this sofa puts one under the direct gaze of the judges. Every judge in this courthouse's history has had quite the beard. Oh, now that I see it, it's true. All of the pictures of the judges. They all have beards. And has gallantly parted with their beloved head of hair, I see. Oh no! Being a judge must be a very stressful career. Egad! What a cold stare he's giving me. However, as a disciple of Von Karma, there is no option but to win. He's good. The power of his cold stare rivals my own. He's sleeping while standing up? And with his eyes open? I've seen that before. It's freaky. Sleeping with the eyes open, I mean. I've never seen someone asleep while standing. The trial will resume shortly. Please wait a moment, sir. I was already well aware of that. Fucking... Shortly or in a moment? Which one is it? Be specific. Hey, it's a Finca! Oh, wait. I'm in front of it. Hold up. Can you see it? Just barely, you can see it by my shoulder. A bookshelf, huh? A compendium of laws for beginners? I don't have the time to read this and second-guess myself now. Plant? Corkboard. A bulletin board. There are trial schedules posted on it. Trial scheduled for this week. Huh? There's only today's trial listed. This must be a mistake, or this country's judicial system is not working as it should. I don't know about that. This should lead to the defendants' lobbies.
Edgeworth, where is your composure? If you wish to take a look at your enemy, do so in the courtroom, as you crush him.
Indeed, thank you. You are a man of wisdom and experience, sir. Sorry. I'm having a very tough time trying to voice Manfred.
Today's trial should have ended in just 1 minute.
I'm not even sure what voice I'm trying to go for. Like, even if I did say, like, what I was trying to achieve, you'd be like, no, Iska, that doesn't sound like him at all. Like a Tim Curry kind of impression. Because the defendant was picked up by the security camera, correct?
Exactly. The killer had the gall to say that he only killed because he was instructed to do so. Even more outrageous is his claim that the case prosecutor, Byrne Faraday, gave the order.
Has that man got the DreamWorks smirk? I hate it. I hate it! I take back what I said.
Faraday is such a fool! He's been cornered by his very own prey.
Sir, are you an acquaintance of Mr. Byrne Faraday?
Ha! He is a pathetic man who speaks nothing but nonsense.
Nonsense?
He once tried to explain to me a way of punishing those who cannot be brought to court.
those who cannot be brought to court. That is nonsense, for no man is above the law. Well, there are always a few exceptions. However, there is no reason to even deal with such individuals. A prosecutor is a guardian of the court, one with no obligation to outside matters. Thus, there is no reason to deal with such individuals, I see. Edgeworth, disgracing yourself as Faraday has will not be forgiven. Have no fear, I will not let you down, sir. In place of the accused prosecutor Byrne Faraday, I'll prove the defendant's guilt. Ah! Look at that baby! Look at that baby face! Before depression hit. Very good. I've secured an hour of recess for you to prepare to do just that. Show them all the power of Von Karma. Oh, I could present things to him. One moment, I have to check something. So I think, I'm not quite sure. No, that's right. That's right. That's right. Okay. Proof of my profession. My mentor said it was more chic to keep it in my pocket. Oh yeah, you don't want it to clash with your gaudy ass jacket. It is thanks to you that I've finally become a prosecutor, sir. It's amusing that you wanted to become a defense attorney, yet became my student. It is a strange path you have traveled. It's true that I had once wanted to become a defense attorney, but now I am honored and proud to be a prosecutor. Oh boy. I see. Then as a student of mine, I suggest you remember this well. The prosecutor's badge is not to be flaunted. The dignity of a prosecutor lies in the man himself, not in the badge. The badge. I understand. I will keep that in mind. Besides, why put holes in your fine garments? It's simply preposterous. I don't know, you could make it into a clip-on. Prosecutors must also take pride in their appearance. I will keep this in mind as well. I'm constantly having to remind the others at the prosecutor's office of this. It's more fashionable to keep your prosecutor's badge in your pocket. In other words, always treat a prosecutor's badge with care and honor. I understand, sir. Today's trial. So have you achieved a firm understanding of the case? Yes, sir. I have memorized everything that is written down in the case files. Well then, explain the case to me. I want to see if you really know what you're talking about. What in the... Sorry, I'm just checking something. Don't know why that was on. It wasn't even doing anything. Okay. Understood. Sorry. I was looking at something in OBS. A murder was committed on September 8th in front of the Cardopian embassy. What is this flag? I don't remember this. It's weirdly detailed. The victim, Mr. Dead Man. Oh boy. His parents named him that, didn't they? was a staff member at the embassy. The defendant in this case, Mr. Macrell... I don't know which one's worse. Was held for questioning the night of the incident. Macrell was held for questioning the night of the incident as he was deemed suspicious. I should make myself some tea or something. I don't have a drink on me. Well, I do, but it's just like a big tank of water. He was quickly placed under arrest for possession of the murder weapon, a gun. Furthermore, at the time of the murder, the great thief Yatagarasu had successfully infiltrated the Kodopian embassy as well. At first, Rel claimed that he himself was the Yatagarasu, but that he did not kill Dade Man. I wonder what he expected to gain from such a desperate lie.
It's possible that he wants to go down while in the spotlight if he is found guilty. There truly is no limit to people's inanity. But I digress. Continue, Edgeworth.
Yes, sir. During the trial, the prosecution presented the security footage that captured the murder.
Back!
The footage clearly showed Mr. Rel as the murderer.
The act of Mr. Rel firing the gun could be clearly seen from the visitors' gallery.
Upon seeing that, the defendant retracted his statement and admitted to the murder. I did it because I was told to. By the real Yatagarasu, Byrne Faraday.
That sounds about right. However, you've forgotten one thing.
Oh?
While this may appear to simply be the murder of a Kodopian embassy staff member, people are actually referring to it as the second KG-8 incident.
Oh. Hey, did we ever find out about the first KG-8 incident? The second KG-8 incident?
I'm very sorry, sir. I fear I failed to study hard enough. Huh. Well, even among the police, it is information that only select few are privy to.
Could you please enlighten me, sir?
Eh.
Sir, what do you mean by the second KG-8 incident?
In order for me to tell you that, you must first learn of the original case. Take a look at these documents.
I wasn't gonna give him the jig. This is a 3-year-old newspaper.
You've heard of the Amano Group scandal before, correct?
Oh yeah. Yes, I have. The secretary of Ernest Amano, the Amano Group's director, was arrested under suspicion of smuggling.
Correct.
Ooh, I like this track.
CCU was an employee of the Amano Group and the sole witness to the smuggling operation. 'Twas she who brought the crime to light. However, Miss Yu was silenced before she could testify in court.
Wasn't a Kodopian embassy staff member arrested for the murder?
Yes. A Kodopian by the name of Manny Cochin was the suspect. However, due to lack of evidence, the case went unresolved.
Lack of evidence?
Ha! If only I was in charge of the case.
I would have done everything in my power to prove his guilt. To make sure that all criminals are found guilty. My mentor really is dedicated. Faraday was the prosecutor on the case then, and he was as pathetic as ever. Mr. Faraday was in charge of the KG-8 incident as well? That's right. And now, once again, the victim of the case you are currently assigned to was someone who was scheduled to testify against that smuggling organization. And just like last time, the victim was murdered right before he was to testify. Oh, oops, that was edgy. That was edgy's. And just like last time, the victim was murdered right before he was to testify. You're catching on. The victim was murdered just before his day in court against the smuggling organization. Events are occurring almost exactly the same way as they did in the KG-8 incident. So that's why it's being called the second KG-8 incident. I hate that. The way they did that. Yes. Yet there is one difference between the two incidents. What would that be? The so-called noble thief that is sending everyone into an uproar. The great thief, Yatagarasu. Yatagarasu? I'd better find out more. If it is true that the Yatagarasu showed up at the Cadopian embassy, what could he or she have been after? Huh. No doubt to steal any suspicious accounting records and release them publicly. Or more likely, to steal secrets from the Cadopian embassy itself. Since the item that the Yatagarasu stole from there was sent to the police. What was it that the Yatagarasu said to the police? I don't know the details. Anything related to the Yatagarasu is getting the top secret treatment. Still, I find it very ironic, don't you think? By returning the stolen item to the police, it was proof positive that the Yatagarasu had infiltrated the embassy on the same day the staff member was killed. Criminals have a way of incriminating themselves, wouldn't you say? What? That would have to be the first time the Yatagarasu has left evidence behind, correct? Yes, indeed. If you wish to learn more about the Yatagarasu, then I suggest you ask Faraday. Mr. Faraday? He happens to be the prosecutor in charge of the Yatagarasu case as well. He's the prosecutor in charge of both KG-8 and the Yatagarasu case? Mr. Faraday really has a lot on his plate.
Baby!
What is it, little girl?
It's a baby. You're scary, mister.
Did you need something?
I want to trade these coins with you.
A fistful of dimes, quarters, and pennies. But it looks like you've exactly $1. Is this what you want?
Uh-huh. Thanks. That's exactly what I needed.
Could that be... Could that child be here to watch the trial? How disrespectful for a child like that to be running around inside the court case. Does no one have respect for this country's judicial system anymore? I have an eyelash in my eye. Ah, it hurts. The paperwork for the prosecutor substitution is complete. Why, you... Do you even know how much time there is left before the trial resumes?
I'm so sorry.
I could have you mopping up this courthouse instead of protecting it in an instant.
Gulp!
It's no bother, sir. Not being completely prepared could prove to be a perfect handicap for me.
Oh dear. A proud one you are. You'd better collect the evidence from Faraday and prepare yourself.
It's like they're crossing swords.
It's time for your debut, Edgeworth.
September 10th, 4 p.m. District Court, courtroom number 3.
Just what is going on? Why isn't Faraday here yet? Why isn't Faraday here yet? How is it possible that the defense is not prepared yet either?
Bailiff, where is Mr. Faraday? I'm not sure. I wasn't really paying attention. Oh, you shouldn't say that. Excuse me.
Judge!
It's true. He has legs. Oh no, I have to do 2 old man voices.
Ah, you must be the one Mr. Von Karma recommended. I hear this will be your first trial. I look forward to seeing how you perform. By the way, was there someone celebrating a birthday during the recess?
Ah! It's someone's birthday?
I could have sworn I heard a popper going off.
It actually is my friend's It was my friend's birthday today, but, poor guy had to work.
Such is the way of capitalism.
Come to think of it, the other day with my grandson.
Ooh, grandson-law?
Sir, it looks like the trial is about to resume. However...
Yes, it will be all but impossible to prove the witness a liar. Without that evidence from Faraday. What is that blasted buffoon up to?
It's an emergency, sirs! Oh, who's this? Gumshoe!
Silence! There shall be no yelling in this sacred hall of law.
But sir...
Bailiff, remove that man from this courtroom at once.
Please! Wait! You have to listen to me! There's an emergency! Defendant lobby number 2, Mr. Faraday and the defendant. The 2 of them, they're both dead, Your Honor! What? 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 What?
Ooh! A third old man!
Stay back.
Ugh. Crap, I have to do a 3rd old man voice. This episode has given me a run for my money. No one's allowed on the crime scene. Period. Wow, he looks so good here. Just who does this oddball think he is? This is becoming quite the hotspot. Isn't she Mr. Rell's defense attorney? Hey you! No running in the hallway, pal! And who are you to tell me what to do?
never find out what's going on like this. It's time for some civil discourse. Oh no, not the D word. Let's start off with this guy. Let's not stand so close to him. And you are? Who, me? Hey, pal. It's common courtesy to tell someone your name first before asking theirs. Their apostrophe S. Totally. Point taken. My name is Miles Edgeworth. I am a district prosecutor. Ah, prosecutor. I've never seen a prosecutor as young as you, pal. I've told you my name. Now would you mind telling me yours? Ah, Detective Dick Gumshoe. And just recently I achieved my dream of becoming a detective. More than a dream, it's what I was born to do. Wait, maybe I should check and make sure I'm not really in some crazy dream first. Just pinch my cheeks. Yow! Ow! This detective is entirely too excited to be at a murder scene. So, Detective Gumshoe, would you mind telling me what you know about the incident? You know that I don't have to tell you anything, right? I know that. But it would behoove you to fill me in on what you know. Wow, you're a proud one for such a youngster, aren't you? Well, anyway, Detective Bad is the one in charge. That's right. So you're just gonna have to ask him for all the details, okay? As for me, I was guarding the door to defendant lobby number 2. Huh. So you were on guard detail. Did you notice anything strange while you were on duty? Well, I freaked out when I heard a gunshot and then I kinda froze. You're a detective, and a measly gunshot scared you that much? Then again, I can hardly claim to not know what it's like to hear one at close range. Then Detective Bad came running to the scene. We went into lobby number 2 together, and both men were laying there dead. Is that everything? Yeah, that's it. I was in the hallway the whole time, but I didn't hear a single peep of a struggle. Interesting. Other than the gunshot, he didn't hear a single sound of commotion. Okay. Lady! Do you have a minute? You know, I'm not really into talking to people I don't know. Especially at a time like this. I apologize for not introducing myself before bothering you. My name is Miles Edgeworth. I was to take Mr. Faraday's place in court. Edgeworth, huh? Never heard of you. So Faraday substitutes a newbie, huh? I'll have you know, madam, that I studied under Manfred von Karma. Do not take me for some naive novice. Don't take me for some naive novice. So you're the student of Von Karma. Oh, shut up. Those clothes are a dead giveaway. Stop right there. These are the garments of one who gallantly presents the facts. Thanks for the laugh, but try not to make me laugh so much, okay? I wasn't trying to do anything of the sort. Just kidding. I was just goofing around. By the way, do you know who I am? My name is Callisto Yu. And if you're telling the truth, then we're about to go head-to-head in court. But of course, I've heard much about you, Miss Yu.
But of course, I've heard much about you. You're a regular Shakespeare.
Did I say something funny? Huh, this is gonna... I'm gonna be out of breath in like 2 minutes. I'd like you to update me on the situation. I don't really know anything. Why don't you try talking to those detectives over there? If that's the case, then why are you here? Ah! What's so funny?
It's just the way you speak is so tactless. The person I was going against in court, until only a little while ago, was just murdered. It's not like I could go back into the courtroom pretending as though nothing happened.
That's a good point. I apologize for asking such an insensitive question.
It's fine. Don't worry about it. Okay. Miss Detective Bad.
Excuse me, but who are you? Detective Tyrell Bad. Homicide. I was informed of the situation and came as quickly as possible. So, how did you arrive and inspect the body before me? Faraday requested for me to testify in the trial. Plain and simple. Mr. Faraday requested you be here.
I forgot how good his theme is.
I've already contacted HQ about the situation. I've got nothing to say to you, kid.
Kid? I'm Mr. Faraday's substitute in today's trial. Therefore, I insist that you update me on the situation.
Nah. I can't back down here. I have a right to know. Do I need to teach you a thing or two about how to talk to adults, kid?
Is he threatening me? Is he going for his gun? It's just a mirror. How dare he trick me like that?
Faraday was stabbed to death with some kind of blade, and he had a gun in his hand. The other man, a Mr. Mackerel, was shot and killed. He was found holding a bloody knife in his hand.
Was there anyone else who went into defendant lobby number 2?
Yeah, that big lug over there. His name's Gumshoe. He was in charge of guarding the place. He's claiming that no one else entered the room.
If that's the case, then they must have killed each other, correct?
Maybe.
Such impudence. This guy's really testing my patience. Why was I not informed that you were going to testify in court?
Homicides aren't my only gig. The Atagarasu case is also one of my assignments.
So, excuse me.
So you were called upon to comment on the Yatagarasu's characteristics, in order to assess if Mr. Faraday really was the Yatagarasu or not.
Well, well. Looks like you just might have a brain after all in that head of yours, son.
Son? I'm not your son, Pops. Yep. Miss Yu? There's someone here who wishes to see you. Who is it? A Kodopian embassy staff member by the name of Manny Kochin? What? Huh? What's going on? Detective Bad and Miss Yu's moods just changed all of a sudden. Wait a second. Wasn't Manny Kochin? I'll be right there. Oh, there he is.
It's nice to see you again, Miss Yu.
Why are you here? I have no desire to ever see you again.
Ooh, the drama. Now. Actually, would you mind stepping outside for a brief chat?
Fine, let's go.
Nope. Bad. Von Karma. It's been a long time. I knew you would show up. You usually do when the Yatagarasu's involved, and I see this case is no exception.
Do you know Detective Bad, sir?
Yes. He's like an old bloodhound that never leaves the scene of a crime. If only he would get a promotion and move on. It's the crime scene where a detective is most useful and effective. Ha! It's not like I don't know that. Moving on though, Bad. The man that I just passed by. Was he not the suspect from the KG-8 incident?
So I was right.
Just what is that old man doing wandering around here? That Faraday. I can't believe he let such an easy catch get away. Imbecile! I would have proved his guilt in 3 minutes. Von Karma. I think you've said enough for now. It's in poor taste to speak like that about the departed. Huh. Very well. Back on topic. I'm placing Edgeworth in charge of the investigation here.
Objection!
Baby! Baby! Papa, how could you place him in charge?
Franziska? What are you doing here?
I'm here for summer vacation. What else? Baby!
Franziska von Karma. So, she's here on vacation from Germany. She is the daughter of Manfred von Karma and a student of his, who's also junior to me.
You're the one who is junior to me, and don't you forget it.
You're not conveniently avoiding the bar examination, are you?
If you were able to pass, then I'll have absolutely no trouble at all. I'll never allow myself to lose to you. Never.
Why does she always have to be this competitive?
Anyway, Papa, are you really assigning Miles Edgeworth to cover the case?
Yes, I am. Why do you ask?
Well, you know, I'm close to becoming a prosecutor myself. And I am 100% confident that I could do a better job than him.
That's just like Franziska. She has no problem bad-mouthing someone right in front of them. She learnt from the worst. Bad? Yeah? These two will be conducting the investigation. What? You want me to let both of these kids loose on the crime scene? Ha! This is the perfect opportunity for them to work on their prosecutorial skills. A crime scene is not a place for children to be messing around in. I'm the one with the authority over this crime scene, Bad. And I will not tolerate complaints. Edgeworth,
Franziska, I leave this case to the two of you.
They're babies.
Understood, sir.
Yes, Papa.
I'll go take care of the paperwork now. Remember, I will accept nothing but a perfect report from the both of you. Do not disappoint me.
Hold up, Von Karma. I still haven't agreed to this.
Miles Edgeworth.
It's been quite some time, Franziska.
This will be the perfect chance for us to see which of us is truly worthy of the Von Karma name.
Would it kill you to at least say hello?
Huh. Long time no see.
Very good.
Just because you became a prosecutor first doesn't mean you can act all proud. What?
She hasn't changed a bit.
Miles Edgeworth. As I was saying, we shall see which one of us is worthy of the Von Karma name.
For crying out loud, I've been reduced to a babysitter.
Poor guy. It looks like Mr. Von Karma was successful in convincing the detective. That's just like him. He never fails. Now, I'd appreciate it if you could quickly run me through the facts, Detective Bad.
You're better off checking things out on your own.
Very well. Seems like getting help from Detective Bad will be a most arduous task. September 10, 4:15 p.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby 2. Oh, that's... Is the only real explanation that they killed each other simultaneously?
Miles Edgeworth, you should listen to someone until they are finished talking.
What are you talking about?
I'll only say it one more time. This is a competition to see who is truly worthy of the Von Karma name.
A competition?
The person that figures out the truth first wins.
So the person who doesn't discover the truth is a dishonor to the name?
Exactly. I don't care that you became a prosecutor before me. I simply refuse to hear any more foolish things come from your foolishly foolish mouth.
Fine, whatever makes you happy.
Can I take that as you accepting my challenge?
Once again, whatever makes you happy.
Well then, let's begin the investigation, shall we? I'm going to find the perfect evidence and prettily present it like the professional that I am.
Competing to discover the truth behind a crime. How delightfully childish.
But
You kids over here, hold it.
a kid? Serves you right, Miles. He just called you a kid.
I said kids, kid.
How dare you call me a kid as well?
I'll do what I please, and I won't allow you to cause a ruckus on my crime scene. Hey, big guy. You're gonna watch over these two.
Yes, sir. Detective Bad, sir. Now do what I say from now on, kids, okay?
You better not get in our way, Scruffy. You'll feel the bite of my whip if you do.
Then you, prosecutor boy. By the way, she's not holding a whip, she's holding a crop. Let's get your investigation started already, alright? Great, now even that detective is treating me like a child. Alright, it's time to get investigating. Get a move on, prosecutor boy! My name is Miles Edgeworth. And if you were to call me Prosecutor Boy one more time, it will be my duty as a prosecutor to look into your monthly salary. What? What would you do with my salary after you saw how much it was? Well, that's up to you now, isn't it? Really? Oh, sounds good, pal. Oh, he's so naive. Begin the investigation. But before I do that, Detective Bad, may I have a word with you? What is it? It appears that both a knife and a gun were used as murder weapons.
Yeah, it does.
That leads us to our first question of the investigation. Where did the men acquire the weapons?
The gun was inside of Faraday's bag. It was a piece of evidence that was presented in the trial earlier today. It was used to kill the Cadopian embassy staff member. But I never heard anything about the knife. Mr. Rell was being held by the police. There's no way he could have brought it in. Which means it's possible that Faraday had the knife on him from the start as well.
Could it have been a piece of evidence that had yet to be presented? But then, why doesn't Detective Bad know about it? Wait, what if? It's possible that Mr. Faraday brought the knife in under the guise of prosecutorial evidence. He could have then brought it out and attacked Mr. Rell with it.
Huh. Maybe you've got a brain in there after all, kid.
Ugh. Is he going to treat me like a child forever?
It looks like Mr. Faraday attacked Mr. Rell first, but then counterattacked. It's the only logical conclusion you can draw from a scene like this.
Oh, excuse me. Not yet. I feel that it's much too early to be drawing conclusions already. I must first find conclusive evidence so as to protect the honor of the Von Karman name. Yeah, pal. Hold on, I'll be back in a minute. I'll get myself a new drink. So I don't die out here. Okay. Moment. Yep. Have myself a nice warm cup of tea. Okay. About investigating.
Oh, I'm so excited, pal! This is my first real crime scene. Let's get investigating.
Detective Gumshoe. I thought investigations were supposed to be conducted in a calm, collected manner. Huh? What do you know about running an investigation, little boy prosecutor? I know that at the very least I have a greater grasp than you of what happened here. Why you? You don't know any more than me, pal. Look, you just stay behind me, boy, and out of the way. Ironic, coming from the guy that's been a step behind me the entire case. Notice anything? Well, this is my first time setting foot inside the courthouse. Who would have thought it'd be for my first case as a detective? But you know, I get the feeling I'll be coming here a lot more in the future. As a suspect detective? Of course not, pal! Anyway, this lobby's actually pretty luxurious. I'll say. I mean, for a defendant's lobby, it's got a pretty big TV. Oh, but is it carpeted? It looks tiled to me. Or linoleum. Oh, and there's that tea set on the table over there. Bet you didn't know that I like to drink tea. Wow, this room really is decked out. If it means spending time in here, maybe being a suspect isn't such a bad thing after all. No, Gumshoe, no, no, no. I'm beginning to suspect that leaving this detective in charge of anything might be a bad idea. But he is right. This room is rather well furnished. And somewhere in this room, the truth is slumbering. It's time to find it and give it a wake-up call. Come here, there. So, Detective Gumshoe. Yeah, what is it, boy? Of all the people to call me that, this detective is by far the least qualified. I wanted to ask you about how the investigation is proceeding. See for yourself, pal. See for yourself, pal. Do I do a great detective bad or what? I don't. Has this man not one professional bone in his entire body? Very well. Then I will inspect the victims' bodies myself. I wonder if he knows much about these, actually. Do you have any insight on this, Detective Gumshoe? As a detective, I'd rather see something that's actually related to the case, pal. And here I thought this was related enough. Excuse me? Hey, so that's a prosecutor's badge, huh? You mentioned that you've only recently become a detective, did you not? You got it. I'm a brand spanking new detective. So that means you've probably never seen a real prosecutor's badge, right? If you so happen to want to take a look, I just might be able to make your day. You don't have to go through the trouble, pal, because a real man has a police badge. And someday I'm gonna become an ace detective! Just like Detective Bad. If you know, you know. Did I say something wrong, pal? Let's return to the investigation, Detective. Let's have a look around. There are some plastic bags stacked up on the table. There's a tea set too, but there doesn't seem to be any sign of a disturbance. Yeah, the table's all neat and tidy. Maybe they were super quiet in their scuffle? Excuse me. After all, I didn't hear anything from out in the hallway, you know. Maybe the plastic bags scattered on the floor are throwing us off. A bag. There's some stuff in that bag, pal. I suppose this was Mr. Faraday's. It's probably the trial evidence I was supposed to collect from him. This is the evidence? I'd better not touch it. I'll leave prints on it. Do you just not pay attention to anything you do? I thought I saw another... It looks like the sofa's ready to be disposed of. Hey. Am I wrong? Or is that a picture of Albert Einstein on the wall? It's so soft, I could sleep for all 25 hours of the day on this thing. 25? If only I could dispose of him. Why are there plastic bags scattered all around? Those bags are for keeping evidence safe, pal. I know that much, Detective. You sure are good at this stuff, aren't you, pal? Normally I'd be happy when someone compliments me. But when it's this guy... Anyway, could these plastic bags be evidence of a fight between the two men? The bodies. It looks like Mr. Faraday fell on top of Mr. Rell. At first glance, it seems like they must have killed each other. However, using logic, the only logical conclusion is, Aha! What was that outburst for? My detective's instinct just hit me real hard. It was Mr. Rell that fell first, see? You don't need a detective's instinct for that, it's common sense. But I suppose we won't know that much more than that until after I examine the bodies. I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious-looking nook and cranny. Well, let's look at this blood-stained plastic bag. Why are there plastic bags scattered all around? Those bags are for keeping evidence safe, pal. I know that much, Detective. You sure are good at this stuff, aren't you, pal? Normally, I'd be happy when someone compliments me, but when it's this guy... Oh. Well? His hand's all black down there, see? I wonder what that could be. If you look closely, this blotching pattern resembles an ink stain. Oh. Hey, was he left-handed? An ink stain? Yes. I usually get ink on my own hand when I use my feather pen. A feather pen? I've never seen one of those before. You sure you aren't just making that up, pal? Knife. Looks like Mr. Rell died with a knife in his hand. There's some blood stuck to it. Then he must have used this as a weapon. Yep, no doubt about it. Was Mr. Faraday carrying this on his personage? Did he bring this as a piece of evidence for the trial? Or did he bring it with a very different intention in mind? I should jot some notes down about it. First, he killed a Cadopian embassy staff member, then he was murdered himself. This guy, he wasn't exactly an angel, you know? Oh, what makes you say that? Well, he's been hauled into the precinct several times for theft and assault, pal. So yeah, he's definitely the type to have committed a murder or two. Well, he did admit to killing Mr. Dade Man. Hey, good point, pal. I know my detective's intuition was telling me something. detective's intuition. Yep. Do you know about it? It's a special feeling that all that... We don't have time for this conversation right now. Let us return to the investigation. Mr. Faraday. Mr. Faraday. How ironic it is for him to lose his life in a courthouse. Yeah, why did it have to be like this? I don't know what to say. I can't believe this happened while I was on watch, pal. Rather than beating yourself up, you should spend your time continuing the investigation. Didn't you become a detective in order to solve crimes? Yeah? Then get back to work. Find out the cause of his murder. Right, I'm on it, pal. Good. Looks like Looks like Mr. Faraday died while holding that gun in his right hand. So, he shot Mr. Rell and then fell on top of him while still gripping the gun. I guess that does seem kind of strange, huh? I mean, why would Mr. Faraday know how to fire a gun? It's not exactly rocket science. Even I know how to pull a trigger. Although I doubt I'll ever need to use one. I hope I never have to fire a gun either, pal. But it sure does look cool to hold a gun in your hands. It also looks cool when a character has a cigarette in their mouth, but that's also not healthy. It's very conflicting. It appears that the police's screening procedures need a thorough review. Anyway, I should jot some notes down about the handgun in Mr. Faraday's hand. Oh? Mr. Rell's cause of death was from being shot, correct? That's what we think, but it's hard to tell with him lying face down. Death is bad enough, but it's truly lamentable that someone would try to hide the truth. Are you sure they were trying to hide something? I can't confirm Mr. Rell's cause of death with his body positioned like that. Detective Bad, I'd like to examine the bodies in further detail, if possible.
What's this? You're not able to form a theory with them the way they are?
I believe an examination of the bodies is vital to finding the perfect evidence, don't you?
I suppose you do have a point. Well, hurry up and get on with it.
Labby. Yes, sir. We've taken enough photos of the scene, sir. There you have it. Do you not approve? Of course not. What? Investigation of a crime scene is the work of a detective. So don't touch a thing. Hey, big fella. Turn over the bodies for me, will you? Okay. Please forgive me, Mr. Faraday, sir. Gumshoe, do not get emotionally involved. Remember, you're a detective. Yes, sir. Understood, sir. I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious-looking nook and cranny. So, fun fact, because we have cameras, we don't actually need to use, like, marking tape at crime scenes anymore. In fact, it's generally, I'm pretty sure it's generally discouraged because it can actually, damage a crime scene. What do we have here? Stab wound. There's a knife wound in his chest here, see? I wonder if the wound matches the knife Mr. Rell is holding. Labby! Yes, sir. Verifying now, sir. Make it quick. From the look of things, one could deduce that the knife Mr. Rell is holding is what killed Mr. Faraday.
A pen!
excuse me.
There's something in his breast pocket. It's a fountain pen. Hey, you know, I always keep a pencil behind my ear. It's because Detective Bad's always telling me, you should always write your name on everything you own. Yes. Somehow you do strike me as quite the forgetful individual. Looks like Mr. Faraday was stabbed with this knife that Mr. Rel's holding. Youch! What's wrong, Detective? My stomach started to hurt from just thinking about being stabbed. Just keep your mind on the case, alright? Oh, excuse me. Ah, that's good. I should get a thermos and like make myself a whole thing of tea. Mr. Faraday is holding a gun in his right hand. That's the one Mr. Rel got blown away by, right?
Labby, your answer?
Yes, sir. We found that the ballistic markings do match that gun.
Oh, ballistic markings are,
they're the figurative fingerprints a gun leaves on a bullet when fired. Every gun leaves its own unique ballistic markings. Therefore, by looking at the markings on a bullet, you can tell which gun it came from. Yeah, that's it. Of course, I already knew about that, pal.
Maybe you'd be better off going back to the academy.
Oh, come on, sir. Cut me some slack, will ya? So the bullet that was fired from this gun is what fell to Mr. Rel. Okay, is there anything else I can look at? I think, oh, that's right. The wound, the bullet wound. Shot in the chest. It takes some guts to fire a gun in a courthouse. I mean, I've been a detective for a whole week and I still haven't fired a single round yet. I'm glad for you. There aren't any burn marks on his clothes. That must mean... Wait, burn marks? Edgeware! Gumshoe! A round grows very hot as it is discharged from a firearm. Therefore, burn marks are usually left when a shot is fired from point-blank range. Ergo, Mr. Rel must have been shot from at least a yard or two away. You sure do know a bunch of neat stuff for your age, pal. Apparently, this detective has as much common knowledge as your everyday marsupial. Thick as the hide on a wombat's ass. Let's now try to understand how the two men died. First, Mr. Faraday took the gun and the knife out from today's trial evidence. Then he aimed the gun at Mr. Rel and fired. However, Mr. Rel managed to grab the knife and counter Mr. Faraday whilst being shot. Then the two men fell together where they stood. That is my theory in any case. What a crazy way to go. Still, something about that explanation doesn't seem right. I believe I now have a firmer grasp on what happened here. Indeed, well let's talk a little. More. Huh, I see. Did you figure something out? This is a competition, Bios, and as such, I'd appreciate it if you didn't talk to me. As you wish. can look at the TV. Whoa!
What is it, Detective Gumshoe? My TV at home is so tiny compared to this one, pal.
And then perhaps you should purchase a more normal-sized television like this one.
Oh, let me see here. Oh, this thing is huge.
Boink. Ah!
And way too noisy. Ah, the old analog TV snare. My beloved.
You are the noisy one, Scruffy.
Don't touch that. You'll get your fingerprints all over it. But I didn't touch it. Preservation of the crime scene is the foundation of detective work. The foundation, Sounds like something the rookie here needs to shore up on. Detective Bad, do you have any thoughts on the case? Faraday and Rel. It looks like they killed each other to me. Although, there are a few things that just don't seem right.
And what would they be?
Why don't you try thinking on your own first before you bother me, boy?
Now I've been downgraded to just boy? He's not wrong.
Huh? The window's open and... there's a fresh flowery scent in the air. Ugh! The flowers in the garden down there are so gross and ghastly. Do you think maybe you could try offering something useful for a change? Well, at least there's no way someone escaped through this window, pal. They wouldn't wake up and smell the flowers after a fall from the 3rd floor.
Good lord, man, we're 10 floors up! The door is right there!
Are you willfully ignoring the fact that there are also iron bars on the windows? Yeah, I guess there's that too. Either way, no one could get through those windows, right? They thought of everything when they were designing this courthouse. Very nice.
Alright. Let's do some thinkies. Let us work our little grey cells.
Well, we have 2 sets of logic we can line up here. Neat and tidy table versus the plastic bags strewn about. There's a very tidy pile of plastic bags on the table. And yet, a portion of them wound up scattered on the floor as well. It's not likely that the ones on the floor were knocked over during a struggle. In which case, might there not be another explanation as to how they got there? Another reason? I believe it's possible that the blood on the outside of the bag is related somehow. Please, get that blood away from me, pal! Detective Gumshoe, whose blood is on this bag? Hold on, let me ask the lab guy. Alright, please hurry. Excuse me. Wait till you get a load of this, pal. It's Mr. Faraday's. And the technician said they didn't find anything else on or in the bag either. It would appear that this bag is a very important piece of evidence. Okay, if you say so. I'll leave it in your hands, pal.
Plastic bag. Alright.
And there's a plane going over. One moment. That splotch on Mr. Faraday's hand. I wonder if it might be the ink from his fountain pen. Oh, let me ask the lab guy. Detective Gumshoe, I can confirm that the substance on Mr. Faraday's hand is the ink from his fountain pen. I see. Good work. Huh. You know, I've always wanted to say that, even if it was just one time in my life. If Mr. Faraday wrote with his fountain pen in his left hand, I think it's fair to assume he was left-handed. It appears that Mr. Faraday's pen is very important to our case as well. Okay, if you say so, pal. I guess there's not much left to investigate, huh? They really did kill each other. No, we can't conclude that quite yet. There's still something I find very peculiar here. The theory that they simply killed one another is too simplistic in this case. In fact, there is actually a contradiction that shows there's another possibility. No way, pal, really? I suppose I will just have to show you the contradiction in this crime scene. I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious-looking nook and cranny. Is this spot somehow connected to any evidence I hold?
Eureka!
Now we come face to face with the contradiction I spoke of, and it is this. Mr. Faraday used his left hand to write with his fountain pen. Ergo, he is left-handed. And yet, the handgun is in his right hand. Did you find that odd that the left-handed Mr. Faraday would hold the gun in his right hand? That, ladies and gentlemen, is the great contradiction haunting this crime scene. Hey, you're right, pal. That does seem kinda strange. But how could something like that happen? The facts add up to one conclusion and one alone. Someone else put the gun in Mr. Faraday's hand after he died. Someone else! Plastic bags scattered on the floor and a gun in the wrong hand. I sense the presence of a shadowy figure behind this case. A person of vile intent who is serious about keeping the truth from us. Possibly. We haven't moved!
Here's the autopsy report. Had it updated.
It is probable that Mr. Ralph survived for a short time after he was shot. However, Mr. Faraday died instantaneously from his stabbing. Interesting. It looks like we know everything we need to know about this case now.
Are you sure we know everything?
Of course. The incident began with Mr. Faraday attempting to get his revenge. The prosecutor went into a rage from being accused and tried to kill the defendant. But the defendant fought back, and they ended up killing each other. It is all very clear and simple. There is absolutely no margin for doubt.
Do you really believe that to be the truth?
Huh! Are you saying that just because I figured out the truth before you did, that you don't want to believe it's true?
Gah!
It's alright. If you disagree with my argument, then prove me wrong. Well, if there are any contradictions to be found, that is.
Oh, don't worry, I will. What happened?
Mr. Faraday's death was instantaneous while Mr. Rell survived for a short time. From this, it is obvious that Mr. Faraday died after he shot Mr. Rell. And Mr. Rell, while on the brink of death, stole Mr. Faraday's knife and stabbed him. Those are the facts of this case.
Mr. Faraday's death was instantaneous, therefore he must have attacked first. Proving that logic to be false is probably the fastest way to show her she's wrong. In which case, I should first look for any holes in her theory.
Let's press.
Hold it!
Do you really believe that Mr. Faraday died instantaneously?
I have the murder report right here. Mr. Faraday died instantaneously of shock due to being stabbed in the chest. There, you see? It has been documented clear as day.
Ah!
Uh-huh.
Hold it!
Hold it.
Mr. Faraday shot Mr. Rell before he died. Do you have any basis for that statement?
Your foolishness has no end, does it? Now, I hate to repeat myself, however. Mr. Faraday died instantaneously. That's all the basis I need.
Alright, so if Mr. Faraday died instantaneously, then he must have attacked Mr. Rell before being stabbed. Sorry. It's that eyelash again.
You're finally beginning to catch on, I see. And Mr. Rell, while on the brink of death, stole Mr. Faraday's knife and stabbed him.
Hold it!
Hold it.
So you believe that the dying Mr. Rell stole the knife from Mr. Faraday?
Mr. Rell became desperate as he did not want to die. Human beings can do amazing things when they are put to the test. So the two men struggled. And in the end, Mr. Rell was able to grab the knife and stab Mr. Faraday. The messy condition of this room is a testament to their struggle. Yes, my logic is perfectly sound.
Can you really say that it is perfect?
What are you insinuating?
Nothing. However, I can't let what you said slide by without further inquiry. One must be clear and precise. So if you could append that statement to your testimony.
Fine. They struggled, and Mr. Rell used the last of his strength to counterattack Mr. Faraday.
Hold it!
About this statement.
Mr. Rell used all of his remaining strength to take the knife and defend himself. One can easily see that they had a violent struggle. Of course, it's nothing compared to what my riding crop can do.
How does one compare the damage her crop can do with the state of this room?
Furthermore, all the plastic bags on the floor in this room were scattered there due to the fight. Is there anything else I can explain for you?
No, that will be fine.
Let's check our notes.
Okay. Ben Faraday. Faraday died of a knife stab to the chest, caused instantaneous death. Rell died of a bullet wound to the chest, no gunpowder burn on clothes, suggesting he was shot from a few yards away. Possible he was alive for a little while after being shot. It can't have been much of a struggle if the first attack was from feet away. I think this is it.
Objection!
Dang it! Doesn't contradict with my testimony, except it doesn't. Miles Edgeworth, just face it. I'm going to win. Oh, it was this bit. The testimony that literally says there was no sound of a struggle.
Objection!
I'm very good at this game. If the two men were fighting, their struggle would have surely caused quite a bit of noise. However, Detective Gumshoe testified that he heard absolutely nothing.
Huh. You place too much faith in that detective's testimony, you know. But for the sake of argument, let's say there wasn't a fight. How then did Mr. Red get his hands on the knife?
Mr. Faraday's bag was sitting right here in lobby number 2. It's not hard to imagine that perhaps Mr. Rell saw a chance and took it out at some point.
So, what you're saying is this. Mr. Rell took a chance when he saw the opportunity and took the knife from the bag. Then, Mr. Faraday shot Mr. Rell after being stabbed.
Isn't there something strange in Franziska's statement just now? Yes, something is off. Wait, something doesn't add up.
Oh, really?
It's simply not possible for Mr. Faraday to have shot Mr. Rell after being stabbed. Now we present the crime scene notes.
Take that!
According to the coroner's report, Mr. Faraday died instantaneously, meaning that he died immediately upon being stabbed by the knife. Ergo, he could not possibly have fired the gun after that.
Oh, you got me.
But of course,
Well then, if the report is correct, then there is only one correct explanation. If we suppose that Mr. Rell attacked first, then Mr. Faraday, who died instantaneously, would have been unable to kill Mr. Rell. Therefore, Mr. Rell must have stabbed Mr. Faraday after he was shot, then they both died. That is the only explanation that makes logical sense.
but then explain to me how Mr. Rell's body is underneath Faraday's. Negating your opponent's ideas in order to prove your own theory. I see you've been studying, Franziska.
I just wanted to explain it to you as simply as possible. Before you foolishly propose a foolish theory that only a foolish fool like you could.
How naive of you to believe that only your opinions are valid. And still expect to discover the truth that the crime scene offers you. Franziska, you've still got a ways to go.
What are you talking about? Are you saying there's a flaw in my logic?
Mr. Faraday died instantly. And the fact that he did is what gives rise to the contradiction in this scene. The contradiction here in this crime scene is... the order the bodies fell. Yep. So let me get this straight. What you are arguing is this. Mr. Faraday took the gun from his evidence bag and shot Mr. Rell. Then, the wounded Mr. Rell found an opportunity to take the knife and strike back. Upon being stabbed, Mr. Faraday died on the spot and Mr. Rell died thereafter. If that's the case, then how do you explain this? Take a good look at the order in which their bodies are piled.
No!
Mr. Faraday's body is lying on top of Mr. Rell's. Therefore, Mr. Rell must have died before Mr. Faraday.
Impossible!
Yes, I agree it seems strange no matter what angle you approach it from. Which means that the real mystery behind this crime scene that we must solve is...
No, not so fast, Miles Edgeworth.
What now?
I simply think that you ought to... I simply think that you ought to think a bit more outside the box. And that it's even clearer now that the incident started with Mr. Faraday's murderous intent.
She sure bounced back quickly. An explanation won't be enough this time. It's going to take some very decisive evidence to prove her wrong. What happened? Part 2.
It was just chance that Mr. Faraday's body fell on top of Mr. Rell's. The two bodies fell into a pile, which indicates that they attacked each other at the same time. It really doesn't matter in the slightest that they fell in the opposite order. Oh, really?
I just know that Francisca's explanation isn't absolutely correct. All I have to do is find a hole in her logic. Once I do, I can then present her with the evidence that proves the contradiction. Just chance, huh?
Hold it!
Objection!
About that.
Pressing someone's testimony in order to gain some time to think. You are a real one-trick pony, aren't you? It's too bad your trick only works on fools.
That wasn't my intent. I simply wish for more details as to how Mr. Faraday ended up on top of Mr. Bell.
Someone's impatient. I was just about to explain everything to you. So do you think you could hold on for a minute?
Ah! Francisca, I'll make you a deal. I'll hold on if you hold on to that whip of yours. Crop.
Oh, I'll hold on to it all right, as I whip you.
Wah! Ah!
Well, now that you've quieted down a bit, I'd like to continue if you don't mind.
Fun fact about crops and whips, they do two very different things. The whip is capable of breaking the skin and cutting the skin, while the crop is much better at leaving bruises. Fun fact. The two bodies fell into a pile, which indicates they attacked each other at the same time.
Hold it!
What do you mean by they attacked each other at the same time?
I assume Mr. Faraday had the two different weapons in his hands. He made to attack Mr. Rell while holding both the knife and revolver, and then, after Mr. Faraday fired the gun, Mr. Rell grabbed the knife as he was falling and stabbed Mr. Faraday. That is how Mr. Rell wound up on the bottom with Mr. Faraday on top. At close range, that is more than possible.
Yes, it's possible, but...
Well, if you have any other ideas, then show me what you've got.
Oh, I will. And to that extent, I'd like for you to append what you just said to your testimony.
I don't see any point to that, but as you please. That fact indicates they attacked each other at the same time from close range. Now we present
Le gun.
Objection!
So you believe they killed each other at close range? Sorry, but that's impossible. Just as it is written in the crime scene notes, the firing of the handgun did not leave a gunpowder burn on Mr. Rell's clothes. Therefore, Mr. Rell and the gun must have been separated by a distance of at least 2 or 3 yards.
Ah!
Yes, this is by far the biggest contradiction. The two bodies are piled up on each other, yet the gun was fired from a distance.
Sorry, playing one over again.
And with there being no chance that Mr. Rell moved that far after being shot, that leaves only one possible explanation.
What a completely foolish line of foolish thought from a thoroughly foolish fool! If I'm not right, then who was it that made the first move with the intent to kill, huh? Who?
The person that attacked first with murderous intent. That would be... I have a 2 and 3 thing. Is either Rel or that one? Mr. Rel, of course.
You know, your foolhardy idea is making me feel just as foolish as you. The murder weapons used in this case were taken straight from Mr. Faraday's bag. The fact that Mr. Faraday had items that could be used to kill in his possession is something Mr. Rel wouldn't have known. Ah!
She's right, of course. Oh, wait. Was it Mr. Faraday? Mr. Faraday, of course. Like, pal, what you're saying now contradicts with what you said earlier. God damn it, I should have picked neither. Well, I have to rethink this carefully. A 1 in 3 chance. Always great. Here in this room, contradictions appear no matter which man we claim attacked first. Thus, there can only be one explanation. There was a third person here.
What?
It was that third person who killed both Mr. Faraday and Mr. Rel, and set their bodies up to make it look like a double murder. That third person is the real culprit.
Miles Edgeworth, there's just one thing you're missing.
Evidence, correct?
Exactly. Everything you've said up until now is nothing but a story played out in your head. However, this is where the real test begins. Can you prove there was a third person involved in this crime?
Of course. If a third person was truly here, that fact would resolve the glaring contradiction. The proof that this has all been a setup made to look like they killed each other. I'll present it and lay bare the final piece of the puzzle not yet in place. What's the piece of evidence that proves there was a third person involved?
Ooh, ba-ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba-da-ba-ba.
Let's have a look at this. Over here, this blood here is from Mr. Faraday, but there are no other clues to be found, which begs the question, do I need to put this bag inside another bag in order to preserve it as evidence? Okay, that's not it. Fired from a few yards away. Can't look at it. Can't be it. Let's have a look at this pen. It seems Mr. Faraday was in the habit of using very nice fountain pens. That's the total opposite of me. I don't get these things at all. Well, I think the pencil behind your ear suits you just fine. Really? You think so, pal? Oh man, I know it was worth something. That wasn't exactly a compliment, Detective.
Pointy.
This looks like a quality nib. Hey, let me test it out, pal. Oh, this is really... Ah! I got ink all over my hand. Detective Gumshoe, don't ever play with the evidence like that again. Alright. Wait. Hold up.
Is it the pen? How is this related? Do you think you could explain it to me?
It was the gun, wasn't it? There's no need for an explanation. Well, I have no idea how it's related, so could you explain it to me? Yes, well, look, all you have to say is the man had ink stains on his left hand, proving that he was left-handed, and yet the gun was found in his right hand.
Let me guess. The developers didn't think of that, did they?
It would appear I was wrong. But there is definitely a contradiction here. And it should resolve itself if there truly was a third party. Gun! The gun in Mr. Faraday's hand and the plastic bag with his blood on it. Oh, I could have presented that as well. Okay. These two items point to the presence of a third person.
How so?
Recall Detective Gumshoe's testimony. I was in the hallway the whole time, but I didn't hear a single peep of a struggle. If there wasn't a struggle in this room, then there shouldn't be any plastic bags on the ground. And yet there are. Meaning that someone else must have deliberately scattered them around. Do you not see the possibility in this? Disregarding the gun for the moment, there's a high probability of blood splatter when a knife is used on a person. If the culprit held the knife with a plastic bag around it, they could use the bag to catch any blood splatter from when they withdraw the knife. Then by spreading a few more plastic bags around, mixing the bloody one in with them, and arranging the room to make it look like there was a struggle between the two, they were able to conceal their presence.
Ah!
Looks like we've still got a long way to go in this investigation. Looks like it's gonna be another all-nighter.
Yes.
Objection!
Whoa! Hello! What the heck's up with you, pal?
Mr. Bad, I advise you to place Detective Gumshoe under arrest.
I know.
What? What?
What's the meaning of this?
Looks like you're not man enough to discipline your own subordinates.
Don't you dare!
That detective claims he was there, standing in front of the door the entire time. But I have it on good authority that it was all a giant lie.
Huh?
Miss Yu? I ask that you please explain that last statement.
I'll let His Honor explain it himself.
I saw it with my own eyes, I tell you. During the recess, there was a period of time when there was no one in the hallway.
What? See, Mr. Bad? So I ask you, why would the detective who was supposedly doing his job the whole time want to fabricate such a lie?
Gumshoe, did you kill Faraday?
No! Of course not, sir. It would appear that the one who set this whole crime scene up is that detective. Which basically renders his testimony a complete lie and wholly invalid. Looks like your perfect logic has just come tumbling down, Miles. Tumbling down, tumbling down, tumbling down.
Was in the hallway the whole time, but didn't hear a single peep of a struggle. Was that statement really a lie?
Detective Gumshoe, you are now a suspect in the murder of 2 men. Now spit out the truth or so help me.
I haven't lied to anyone, sir, honest. I really was there. I was in the hallway the whole time.
Hold it!
Detective Bad, I ask that you please do not act without my permission. After all, I am the one that is heading up this investigation, am I not?
Don't talk like you know what's going on, boy.
All I want is for this investigation to run perfectly. Perfection is the only wish of a disciple of Karma, after all.
Therefore, before you take Detective Gumshoe into custody, I'd like to set the record straight on something. And what's that?
What should I ask Detective Gumshoe about? Why he wasn't in the hallway?
Detective Gumshoe, why were you missing from the hallway for a span of time? Look, pal, like I said, I was there the whole time, okay? But there is testimony against you that...
Miles Edgeworth, why are you wasting our time with a completely useless question? The only logical reason as to why he was absent is that he was busy committing the crime. Anyone who says otherwise is a fool.
Maybe I should ask about something else.
Oh, wait, the state of the hallway.
Detective Gumshoe, I take it that no one else was in that hallway at any time, correct? Huh? Of course not, pal. You're being awfully defensive. Might you be hiding something from me? Well, watch your mouth, pal. You can't go around saying stuff like that about me without any evidence. I suppose you're right. I have no evidence at this point.
Miles Edgeworth, how can you be losing a battle of wits with this detective? You are a disgrace.
Yeah. Really? Motive? I suppose the one thing I'd like clarified is Detective Gumshoe's motive for committing this crime. Motive, huh? Gumshoe, you got a grudge against Faraday or anything? No, sir, not me. Not a single bad thing against Mr. Faraday, sir. Is that a fact?
Objection!
You really have a problem with lying, don't you, Detective Gumshoe?
I'm telling you, I am not lying.
The more unnatural you act, the more suspicious you become, you know.
If you want a motive, Edgeworth, I have one for you right here. Could you please share it with us? However, be forewarned that I won't hesitate to object to flights of fancy, because all I'm interested in is the perfect explanation. Oh, you're serious, aren't you? Fine. You amuse me, so I'll humor you with a little courtroom practice. It was about a week ago. I saw the detective get chewed out by a livid Faraday in front of the precinct. He stood there, super pale, as Mr. Faraday yelled, "That's a salary cut for you, you nitwit." A brand new detective suddenly getting his salary cut. That's reason enough for a grudge. Well, how's that for the perfect explanation? You totally misunderstand me, pal. No matter how mad I get, I could never hold a grudge. Quiet. We can't trust anything you say. Sir! There's nothing wrong with the motive she proposed, per se. But there are some gaps in her logic that need to be filled in. Misused perfect explanation. May not be so perfect at all. Disgraces me. Gumshoe's motive. About a week ago, huh?
Hold it!
He said he's only been detective for a week. The new and Detective Gumshoe are acquaintances? No way. I only met him in person today. Then how did you know about Detective Gumshoe? Gumshoe would never. You're right. Oh, I've seen him around before.
I saw the detective get chewed out by a livid Faraday.
Hold it!
Let's see what this is about. I'm not surprised. Mr. Faraday was upset. Yeah, you know what else? Mr. Faraday isn't exactly known to get angry often. But there he was, totally beat red in the face. And the offending detective just stood there, pale as a ghost, like he was about to die.
Oh, just like the face he's making now, right?
I'm completely innocent, I tell you.
We believe you, Edgeworth.
Gumshoe. Oh, the poor man.
It was quite the scene with the detective.
Stood there pale as Mr. Faraday yelled. But a salary cut? I was about to say a paper cut. You just stood there watching this unfold in front of you?
Yeah,
I have to say it was really enjoyable too.
but that's why when I saw Detective Gumshoe earlier, I knew to steer clear of him.
No way! I thought it was because I had something stuck on my face. You mean aside from the bandage? Oh, okay.
But you do!
Huh? What have I got stuck on my face?
Let's start with your eyes, your nose, your mouth, and those ridiculous eyebrows.
Huh?
Oh man! Messing with your head is just too much fun!
Miss Yu, if you don't mind, I'd like to return to your testimony now.
Sure, why not?
Hold it!
Hold it. To cut a new detective's salary right off the bat like that, on his first day. I'm not really familiar with the way you guys relate, but is that a common practice? Speaking of cutting my salary, didn't you threaten to do that to me earlier too? I suppose I did.
It's only natural to cut a worthless detective's salary down to their actual worth. My father can even fire anyone new or old with a snap of his fingers.
You think maybe that's reason enough for detectives to hate you people? Well, I guess they really shouldn't cut people's pay. He's right. Detective Bad, don't tell me Mr. Von Kammer cut your salary earlier. How's that for the perfect explanation?
Hold it!
You call your explanation perfect. Is it not to your liking? Unfortunately for you, it's just not up to my standards.
Oh. Is there something you want me to clarify in that case?
What should I do? Should I raise an objection?
Yes.
Alright, if you could clear this one thing up for me. Motive for killing Mr. Rell means nothing to me. How Faraday was killed. I guess... Do we need Faraday and Gumshoe's relation? Actually, allow me to ask the detective directly. What was your relation to Mr. Faraday? Well, Mr. Faraday was in charge of training rookie detectives to testify in trials. I met him on the very first day I entered the Criminal Affairs Department, pal. Oh, I had no idea Mr. Faraday was so involved. Faraday. He may look like an easygoing guy, but he's actually a bit of a nut for strict discipline and manners. Guys like Gumshoe tended to rub him the wrong way. I mean, you never want to rub a guy the wrong way. Otherwise, it's painful. They can be really sensitive about it. There, now you know how the detective and Mr. Faraday were related. Happy now? No, wait! You said you had only one thing to ask, right? Please allow me to ask about one more thing. You're right, Edgeworth. Poor baby. Tell you what, I'll let you have another go. How's that? Alright, if you could clear this one thing up. Oh, I guess I need how Mr. Faraday was killed? Wait, did I... Oh, did I actually get damage from that? You still haven't explicitly established how Mr. Faraday was killed.
Objection!
Going senile already, Biles. Mr. Faraday was stabbed to death with a knife.
No, not that. What I meant to ask was, how were the two men killed when they were in a guarded room? Must have done a bad job at teaching Gumshoe. He always has something wrong in his testimonies. No, I think that's just Gumshoe. We're gonna find that out very soon from Gumshoe with his interrogation, boy. Ah. Oh, I did get... okay. Alright. The motive. I'm very good at this. I'm very clever. I understand Detective Gumshoe's potential motive for killing Mr. Faraday. However, what about his motive for killing Mr. Rel? Oh, right, Rel. For some reason, I thought it was... I kept misreading it as Mr. Faraday. His motive for killing Rel? Like I would know. If there was no clear motive for both of the murders, then I doubt this incident would have occurred. Wouldn't you agree? Is there anyone else who might have had a grudge against either of the two men? Or should we look into that ourselves?
Oh. In that case,
I have absolutely no idea. What? But that's impossible. She must know something.
Wait. Could you please not glare at me like that?
It makes me laugh. Ugh. I didn't do anything, and you're already laughing anyway?
Oh, well, anyway. The way I see it, as long as he had a motive to kill one of the two, this crime would have played out the way it did anyway.
Oh? Would you care to explain your logic? And this time, please try to provide a truly perfect explanation.
Perfect this, perfect that? Stop being so uptight. Or is that a requisite trait for being Avant Karma? Miles Edgeworth, I demand that you shut this rude woman up.
I wish you'd both be quiet for just 1 second.
Oh well, I guess I'll just have to explain it to you kids.
Motive to kill the men.
There's no one out there with a motive to kill both Mr. Faraday and Mr. Rel. All you really have to establish is that someone had a grudge against one of the two men. Mr. Rel, who happened to be there, became a witness to Mr. Faraday's murder. Therefore, he was killed out of necessity, and set up to look like they had killed each other.
I wonder if that's really true. Is there no one out there with a grudge against both men? I should take another hard look at the evidence for this morning's case. The second KG-8 incident, as people are calling it, involving an embassy staff member, and the two men who both wound up as suspects in the case. Is there someone else I'm overlooking who's somehow related to them?
Hold it!
So there is no one else who might have a grudge against both Mr. Faraday and Mr. Rell? I suppose no one is a bit of a stretch. But I'm pretty sure no one like that was here in this courthouse today. She's lying through her teeth. We just saw someone like that here earlier. Besides, you don't need to prove that the killer had a grudge against both men. Oh, really? Hold on. What's interesting is that I can actually kind of read the, thing, but, but it looks like it's, what's the word? Placeholder text. So I can see something like, according to the Statistics Bureau of the Ministry of Internal Affairs and Communications, as of April 2008, there were some number of words that I can't read. Nagoya officials estimate 70 something will be required in the future. Health and welfare. But that... Yeah, no, that is all placeholder text. 2017? No, that's... I think that's 2007. Not 2017. Is there another one? No, there was not another page. Let's see. Actually, Darsu, Mackerel. That's right. Yes!
Objection!
Miss Yu, I believe there is someone you overlooked in making your statement. Or rather, is it because you'd rather not bring this person up? What do you mean? We are looking for someone with a reason to kill both Mr. Faraday and Mr. Rell. I can think of at least one person that fits the bill. He was the suspect in the original KG-8 incident. And a member of the Cadopian Embassy staff. Mr. Manny Cochin. Huh. That's right. The very man who came to visit you earlier out in the hallway. The man who killed a member of the Cadopian Embassy staff, Mr. Rell. And the man who was the lead prosecutor of the KG-8 incident, Mr. Faraday. Are you telling me that Mr. Cochin has no reason at all to kill both of these men? Well, I suppose he might have a reason or two. You covered for me, pal. Maybe you're not such a bad guy after all. Don't get ahead of yourself. You're still a suspect, make no mistake about that. The perfect evidence, the perfect testimony. These are the only things I wish to hold. But I didn't do it. You will stay under my authority and wait, hold on. Let me read that again. You will stay under my authority and go investigate Mr. Manicochin for me.
And remember, I will not be very forgiving should any of this leak out. Oh?
You want to investigate coaching? You'd just be wasting your time.
And why is that?
Cochin was up in the viewing gallery watching the trial. Or so I was told. Every cop in this place has been keeping an eye on the guy since he arrived.
Then the only real suspect we have is still Detective Gumshoe.
I suppose so.
No way. Come on, Detective Bad. You gotta believe me, sir. I really was in that hallway the whole time, sir. I never took a single step into this room, sir.
Okay, then are you saying there was someone else who passed through the hallway?
No. There was no one else, sir.
Then why should I believe you didn't do it?
That is one incredibly foolish detective. Standing right in front of a crime scene all by himself. It is as good as a confession of guilt.
I have to admit, it is a bit strange. Most criminals will fabricate some sort of lie to escape their crimes. And if that detective really wanted to prove that he's innocent, you'd think he would at the very least offer up an "I spaced out while on duty" or the like. Which means there's something else at play.
Come on, Gumshoe. Time for your interrogation.
Detective Bad. I love how the judge is still as if he's been running on the spot.
Miles Edgeworth, I will go on ahead and report this to Papa.
And that, as they say, is that. Right, everyone?
Bye, Judge. Well, I suppose we should both be getting back to our real jobs now, huh?
Before we do, Miss Yu, there is something I'd like to speak with you about.
What is it?
Discussion's too intense for him.
Wait! Edgeworth! What are you up to? Aren't you the one who wanted to talk?
Oh, yes, sorry about that. Everything is neat and tidy on top of the table, with... Probably excited to be part of the investigation. Maybe. Everything is neat and tidy on top of the table, with not a single disturbance in sight. Yes. There we go. So, what did you want to ask me about? Actually, let's show us some things. Hey, what do you think about badges? It is a shame that we'll not be able to face each other. This was to be my first trial, too. Oh, was that a declaration of war? How nice it is to be so young and carefree. And what a nice, squeaky clean badge you've got yourself there. I'm jealous. I'm sure its gleam will dull over time with experience.
Are you saying your reputation will also tarnish over time with it?
That's not what I meant.
You just can't avoid some things in life.
I will never allow my badge or my reputation to become tarnished.
Don't worry, Edgeworth. In the future, you will fail step 1.
Miss Yu, what do you think about this piece of evidence?
Actually, Edgeworth, I'm interested in finding out what you think about it.
Huh? I don't really know all that much about it.
Huh. Then I don't really know all that much about it either. Sorry. Guess I can't be of any service.
I shouldn't push her too much, she'll just start laughing again. Mr. Faraday was killed with this knife, correct? I feel bad for him. Being killed by evidence you
Being killed by the evidence you prepared yourself is just awful.
Miss Yu, what do you think about this piece of evidence?
What do I think? Well, other than the blood, it's a very pretty and ornate knife. I'd love to use it as an ornament in my house. If it's alright with you, may I have it?
What are you talking about? This is a weapon that was used to kill someone with.
Why so serious? I think someone needs to loosen up.
Something something Joker moment? I don't know. There she goes again.
Looks like Mr. Rell was killed by the very gun he used to kill the embassy staff member.
Yeah, it is a bit. It probably doesn't help I have such a shrill laugh. You speak of the concept of karma, I assume. And that you take your life into your own hands when you commit a crime, correct? I never thought I'd be dealing with a gun this soon upon becoming a prosecutor.
Oh well, for a veteran like me, they're pretty much par for the course. To be honest, even if it's just once, I've always wanted to try firing one.
Hey, is that thing loaded? You think I could give it a try right now? Don't be ridiculous. This isn't some kind of toy. I was only joking, duh. Why is it that anything I have to say is a joke to her? Okay, she doesn't know anything about that. What do you think about his fountain pen? Absolutely nothing. Cool.
About the crime scene?
Nope.
Okay, let's actually talk to her.
The current case of the murdered Cadopian embassy staff member. I've heard that people have begun calling it the second KG-8 incident. Only among you law enforcement types. And what about it? I'd like for you to tell me everything you know about the original KG-8 incident.
I'm afraid I can't help you.
I don't know anything beyond what was reported in the papers. No, I believe you know much more, since you are directly tied to the KG-8 incident.
I'd appreciate it if you'd stop with the false accusations. Baseless outbursts are useless both inside and outside the courtroom, don't you know?
I do, but I also know that I do have a leg to stand on here.
Think you can stop making that ultra-serious face in front of me?
If you could please stop laughing for just 1 second. I'm not gonna make any headway like this. I'm just going to have to show her exactly how related to the KG-8 incident she is. Miss Yu, I believe that I have proof of your connection to the KG-8 incident.
That file is your proof? Very well then.
Why don't you tell me exactly how I'm related to the KG-8 incident?
Through the victim, of course.
Your connection to the KG-8 incident is through the victim. The victim's name is CCU. You will note that she has the same last name as you do. Can you really still tell me with a straight face that you're not related to this case?
Sorry, but we're not related.
What?
Just kidding. You asked that question with such a serious look on your face. I couldn't help but...
Miss Yu, I ask that you please tell me the truth.
Ahem. Alright. Alright, I'll tell you everything I know. Oh. Sad music. As you guessed, the one who reported the smuggling activities of the Amano group was my sister, CCU. As I thought. And she was killed right before she was to testify at the impending trial. By Manny Cochin. But because he was tried once and was acquitted, he gets to live out the rest of his cushy life completely carefree. All because of a lack of evidence? No. I heard that the evidence to convince him did exist.
What?
I heard it from Mr. Faraday himself after Mr. Cochin's trial was over. Apparently, a man in black made off with the most important piece.
Then, the evidence had been tampered with.
Isn't it just like a criminal to do something like that? The smuggling ring being run out of the Amano group by one of its secretaries. They bailed Mr. Cochin out. Turns out they were in league with each other all along.
How big was that smuggling ring? Was it a large operation?
I don't really know. Which is why I wanted to become the lead defense on this case that people are calling the second KG-8 incident. But I haven't learned anything new at all. I was probably expecting too much, I know.
You mean, you think this case has nothing to do with the smuggling ring?
I don't know what to think.
I need to give myself a sippy. Ugh. My big sippy tank. Which I got while I was down in Melbourne. It's very cute. It has cinema roll on it. The little bunny that's Miss Hello Kitty's friend. Why did Mr. Cochin want to meet with you earlier?
Actually, he came to watch the trial. Apparently, he only found out that I was the defense lawyer on this case after he arrived. He figured he should say hi, and one other thing. Looks like you couldn't resolve anything this time either. Too bad.
What's that supposed to mean?
Oh boy. Stop it with that scary face already.
I'm fine, really. I gave him a good slap across the face. The way she talks about slapping him as she laughs away is kind of creepy.
But it's just as Mr. Bad said. He's not related to the double murder. I asked around, and the people in the gallery claimed that he was in his seat the entire time. Talk about cruel fate. Well, that's about all I know. Sorry. Guess I wasn't much help, huh?
That's not true. I'm sorry I made you recall such a painful time in your life. Edgeworth, you really are too serious for your own good.
You really need to learn to relax. We wouldn't want you to die of stress now, would we?
Thank you for the advice, but there's no need to worry. I work in my own way, and I will catch this criminal in my own way as well. You'll see.
Look at you with your game face on, ready to go.
I'm making no such face.
Did you know? Laughter is the best medicine, Edgeworth.
Don't you get tired of making such serious faces all the time? I'm charged with making sure that all the criminals of this world are found guilty. I have no need for laughter.
There you go, making that face again. Oh well. I gotta get going. I still have a few loose ends I need to tie up.
The KG-8 incident and this murder investigation. It is my belief that these two cases are related to each other, somehow. Plus that detective, Detective Gumshoe. It's obvious he's lying, even though the lie is hurting his chances. Clearly this case is far from over. But whether or not that detective is the murderer could only be determined once I've completed my perfect investigation. Mr. Von Karma, I swear to uphold your honorable name, for my name isn't Mild Edgeworth. Miles Edgeworth. To be continued. Save progress.
Do I want to keep going?
I feel like this is a good place to call stream, honestly. Before, because I know I'll get tunnel vision if I keep going, and then I'll have another 5-hour stream where I'm tired and dry of throat. Ugh. The grind never ends, it's true. This isn't even case 5, and I know how long that one goes. Kind of. I remember the anguish. But that'll have to wait for Well, next week will be the rest of this case, and then I do Turnabout Ablaze. The week after that... Wait a minute, hold on. What's my calendar? Today's the 23rd. Oh shit! I'm going to a concert next Saturday! Dang it! Which means I'll have to skip a week and come back to this next time. It'll be good. Yeah. I should have a fun time. It's a band I like. Coming to my city. For once. Rare that happens. Well, until next time, when I wrap up Turnabout Reminiscence, I'll meet you all again here. Thank you to chat, and thank you to people who came in just to watch. I appreciate all of you. And I will see y'all next time. Good night, everyone.